Thank you very much. Thank you very much, colleagues. And good morning. And good morning. Thank you. Madam Speaker, we are delighted, extremely delighted to be back in this August House after our maiden address on the 13th of September 2021, when we officially opened the first session of the 13th National Assembly. Today, Madam Speaker, we are pleased to have an opportunity to address the House once again, and indeed the nation, on the progress made in the application of national values and principles. This is a requirement, Madam Speaker, under Articles 9 and 86(1) of our Zambian Constitution. Madam Speaker, allow us to begin today's business by paying tribute to our foreign Honorable Member of Parliament for Kabwata constituency, one Honorable Levi Mukandawire, who passed away on the 18th of November 2021. His untimely death, Madam Speaker, has robbed the people of Kabwata, the Kabwata constituency residents, this August House, and indeed the nation at large, of his valuable contribution. Madam Speaker, honorable members, let us be upstanding, I suggest, and observe a minute of silence in honor of the late Member of Parliament. You may take your seats. May the soul of our departed Member of Parliament, our brother, colleague, rest in eternal peace. Madam Speaker, following the untimely death of Mr. Mukandawire and obviously a by-election that was held on the 3rd of February 2022, and the people of Kabwata constituency elected, when the people of Kabwata constituency elected one Honorable Andrew Tayengwa as their new Member of Parliament. We congratulate you, Mr. Tayengwa, and we urge you to serve your constituency, our constituency, the people of Kabwata, and indeed the country, with honor and distinction. Madam Speaker, the national values and principles are enshrined in Article 8 of our Republican Constitution. Memory jog, memory jig. These are 1, morality and ethics. Number 2, patriotism and national unity. Number 3, democracy and constitutionalism. Number 4, human dignity, equity, social justice, equality, and indeed non-discrimination. Good governance. Number 5, good governance and integrity. And lastly, number 6, sustainable development. Madam Speaker, as a new administration, New Dawn administration, we recognize the importance of these national values and principles in shaping our individual as well as national character. At the individual level, Madam Speaker, they shape the moral fiber for personal development our personal development. At the institutional level, they guide in decision-making and implementation of policies. At national level, these values and principles are an important moral compass. And this is extremely important, Madam Speaker. They promote hard work, accountability, self-discipline, which are all critical to national development. We should therefore embrace these values and principles and make them our way of life, every day, every month, every year. Madam Speaker, allow me to report on the progress we've made as a country in the application of our national values and principles for the period under review. Let me start with morality and ethics. As a nation, Madam Speaker, we have made progress in the application of morality and ethics. However, more remains to be done as instances of immoral and unethical conduct continue to be prevalent in our country. These include, unfortunately, alcohol and substance abuse, child marriages, teenager pregnancies, gender-based violence, corruption, Madam Speaker, corruption, and the abuse of information and communication technology, of course, on the platform of social media and others. Madam Speaker, in order to curb alcohol abuse, government, your government, our government, has continued to implement a national alcohol policy which provides for a coordinated response to address this scourge. In implementing the policy, one of the measures has been the sensitization of citizens on the dangers of alcohol and substance abuse. Government is also providing rehabilitation services which are available in provincial hospitals, as well as in public and private institutions selected across the districts of our country, the whole country, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, government enacted the Cannabis Act number 33 of 2021 and the Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act number 35 of 2021 to, among other reasons or other things, regulate the use of these substances. Our administration will indeed ensure that these pieces of legislation are effectively enforced without any segregation of any kind. Madam Speaker, the fight against alcohol and substance abuse is not for government alone. It can never be achieved by government alone. Let us all get involved and help our fellow citizens, especially the youth, in this regard. To the parents, let us not neglect our responsibility of molding our children into morally upright citizens. It starts, Madam Speaker, at the family level. If it's done properly at the family level, then society will have dealt with this issue. If we neglect it at the family level, it becomes difficult to do good or right on this subject later in life. To the church, civil society, traditional leadership, let us all take interest and participate in the fight against this scourge. To the youth, we urge you to refrain from abusing alcohol and other drugs. I must say here, Madam Speaker, there are cases where even adults are involved in this unfortunate situation. Now, if we adults are involved, how are we going to guide our children? Are we going to encourage them to do what is wrong, what destroys them? I think we must check ourselves. To the private sector, especially the liquor industry, we implore you to put in place measures and programs that will help our people refrain from alcohol and substance use. We further implore you to operate within the confines of the law. The law guides all of us. The law moderates all of us. That's why we put up these laws, to moderate all of us in our society. In particular, Madam Speaker, we call upon the local authorities to strictly enforce the bylaws that regulate the sale and indeed consumption of alcohol. Madam Speaker, another issue affecting our moral and ethical standards as a nation is the manner in which information and communication technologies, ICT, as well as social media platforms are utilized in our country. These platforms have made it easy for us to interact, which is good, to share information, also good, undertake business transactions, and enhance our democracy. These are all welcome, Madam Speaker. However, government is concerned, your government is concerned that some of our citizens are using these platforms to perpetrate hate speech, which is illegal, cyberbullying, indeed fake news. We see a lot of such on our platforms. Fake news, cybercrime, enticing people to loan schemes that don't exist completely, and circulation of obscene materials. Obscene materials, Madam Speaker, destroys the morality of our young people. These are just among the vices. There are many more. It is important that we use these platforms responsibly for the betterment of ourselves, our communities, organizations, and indeed the nation. Madam Speaker, government is determined to put a stop to irresponsible use of ICT as well as abuse of social media platforms. This vice must not be celebrated or condoned in our society. Laws to protect citizens from this illegality will be enforced without segregation. Let us use these platforms for good and to foster the continued development of our communities, our democracy, to promote creativity, of course, entertainment, Madam Speaker, legitimate news and business transactions, to make few opportunities that allow few opportunities that encourage such negativities. Madam Speaker, child marriages and teenager pregnancies have remained serious issues in our country. Unfortunately, sadly, we have cases of girls, very young girls, who are being married off. We have cases of teenager girls who are still children themselves, and they begin to have children. Where is the family in this situation? The family unit, which is the one that ought to deal with these issues as the first stage. Where is the family unit? These teenager girls are exposed to health complications and even death, sometimes at the point of giving birth. We are responsible. Madam Speaker, we are all responsible for this unfortunate situation. This is immoral. This is unacceptable, Madam Speaker. This should not be tolerated among ourselves. To this end, we have partnered with the traditional, civic leaders, church, civil society organizations to sensitize our communities on the dangers of child marriages and indeed teenager pregnancies. Further, Madam Speaker, government is implementing the school re-entry policy and keeping girls in school as a program to ensure that the child remains in school and is protected from such vices as much as possible. Additionally, the free education policy, Madam Speaker, among other measures, will clearly further improve the circumstances of the girl child and the communities at large, without doubt. No question about it. Going forward, government will harmonize all child-related legislation to ensure children's rights and welfare are protected effectively. We will enforce the laws. Madam Speaker, I shall repeat, we will enforce the laws and bring to book those who marry teenager girls. I'm talking about, Madam Speaker, I am very categoric here. We are very categoric. You marry a teenager girl, you will be prosecuted. Madam Speaker, I wish to emphasize a point that has been ignored in the past. Yes, we prosecute those who marry teenager girls. But where are they getting these girls from? From a home, from somewhere. Someone has consented to this marriage. And therefore, we shall also go for parents and guardians who marry off young girls. We want our children to be protected from any form of abuse, neglect, and indeed, Madam Speaker, exploitation. Madam Speaker, gender-based violence is another vice that continues to affect our country. Government is working with various stakeholders to address this vice. In 2021, Madam Speaker, you will be pleased to note that a total of 20,540 cases of gender-based violence were recorded compared to 26,370 in 2020. We give these figures, Madam Speaker, for us to pick the trend or a trend. This obviously suggests a decrease of 22.1%. In spite of this reduction, Madam Speaker, a lot still needs to be done going forward. Government is also concerned about acts of gender-based violence that are not reported in our communities. They happen, but they are not reported. This is of concern to us. It must be a concern to all of you. This is specifically or especially common in our rural areas and peri-urban settlements. For some reason, we have an idea what this reason is, but maybe we should for today say for some reason. We urge our citizens to be alert, make this fight personal, and report any form of gender-based violence to law enforcement agencies. This is the only way, at least one key way, in which victims can be assisted and perpetrators punished. Madam Speaker, government will continue to work with stakeholders in implementing measures aimed at reducing instances of gender-based violence in our communities. Working together, we can reduce to the minimum gender-based violence. Madam Speaker, I have a passion which I would like to share with the House and the nation today. That passion is about love. We must love one another, because where love is present, Madam Speaker, there will be no violence. How is it that you can claim to love your wife for a husband, you beat her up in the morning, and in the evening you claim you love her? How possible is that? How possible is it, Madam Speaker, how possible is it that a father can take their own child to bed, but they claim to love their child, yet they are destroying that child forever? It means there's no love in that environment. Love is strong. Love conquers. We must love each other in our communities. Separate that from criminality, Madam Speaker. The two are separate. You can't commit crimes and say, because there is love in the house, then I'll go scot-free. The two, Madam Speaker, are separate. They are different. Madam Speaker, our households, our communities, and our nation will be better off if we lead our lives with love for one another. Starting at the family level, it's the most important unit in any nation is the family. Madam Speaker, ethical conduct is critical to achieving our developmental agenda. We need a professional and ethical workforce in our country. Public sector, direct. Public sector, local government. Public sector, parastat or quasi-government institutions. Private sector, family businesses. At all these levels, we must apply ethical standards. It is in this regard that the government has continued to sensitize public service workers on codes of ethics and conduct, Madam Speaker. The new administration is determined to change the mindset of our citizens, especially public service workers. We therefore call upon all professional bodies and associations to sensitize their members on their respective professional codes of conduct and ensure that these are enforced to the letter. After all, we create these standards so that they can be followed, so that they can be enforced. So let's do what we intended to do when we created these codes of conduct, professional codes of conduct. They do help at the wider society if they are dealt with at the micro level. Patriotism, Madam Speaker, national unit. May I address this as well? Madam Speaker, Zambia is our country. Zambia is our heritage. Please follow the usage of these simple words. Zambia is our country. Zambia is our heritage. Zambia belongs to all of us. Never should we again, Madam Speaker, create a deliberate divide amongst our people. Institutionalize that divide behavior. It should never happen again, because Zambia belongs to all of us, Madam Speaker. It is our duty, therefore, to nurture a strong sense of patriotism, which entails putting the interests of our nation first. This includes, Madam Speaker, participation in national governance and safeguarding national assets, I must say. Safeguarding national assets. The responsibility to demonstrate loyalty, love, dedication to our country remains with us all, first as individuals, family, society, communities, businesses, associations. It is in there that we must demonstrate loyalty and love and dedication to our country. We are proud of our citizens who continue to carry the Zambian flag high with a sense of national pride in areas such as sport, entertainment, Madam Speaker, and science. Let us be inspired by these shining stars and emulate their hard work and sense of patriotism. We must embrace the value of hard work, Madam Chair. I shall repeat this. We have noticed that we have a declining work habit in our country, work culture in our country. Citizens want to line up for handouts without working. We can't build a nation on this basis, Mr. Speaker. This is the attitude that destroys nations slowly. Productivity, economic development gets impaired. We must embrace the value of hard work, Madam Speaker, at personal level, organizational and national levels. May I speak, Madam Speaker, about my experience? From our own experience, personal experience, we are convinced that doesn't matter your background, doesn't matter your circumstances. Work, and more work delivers results. There's no question about it. We must be disciplined. We must be disciplined. We must aim for excellency. You can't expect to be head of an organization when you know you don't present excellence. You are aware you don't present excellence. But for some reason you want to be the head of an organization. You destroy yourself, you destroy the organization. Simple. This is the only way we can enhance our productivity, economic growth in our country. There is no other. There are no shortcuts, Madam Speaker. You run a country with shortcuts, with no work, but huge rewards. It's a matter of time. The country will not be able to move forward. Madam Speaker, as a people, we have the responsibility to continue safeguarding our national assets for common good. It's our duty. We are, however, concerned that some of our national assets, just by way of example, electricity infrastructure, roads, including simple things as signage, road signage, furniture. In the market areas, we continue to see vandalism. And one wonders, for what purpose? What is a signpost worth to anybody if they plucked it out of the roadside? These are issues. They appear small, but they're very important, extremely important to our country. This vice must be condemned when we see it, when we experience it, Madam Speaker, at all costs. It does not only disrupt service delivery, but also derails progress towards a better Zambia. We therefore call upon all citizens to love and put our country and its interests first. Luckily, Madam Speaker, when we do that, our personal interests also get taken care of. But the opposite is not true, and we've seen it. If personal interest takes precedence, destroy the nation, but eventually our own interests will be affected negatively. If you're a supplier, you get paid for goods you never supplied. Eventually you will never be paid because the economy will have no capacity to pay you. Madam Speaker, I am making a point here that if you put the nation first, conduct yourself properly, be respectful, be truthful, your interests will also be taken care of. But the opposite is not true. We have seen it. We don't need to look around. We have seen it. Madam Speaker, our government is determined to continue promoting the consumption of locally produced goods and services. Madam Speaker, through this House and to the nation, I ask us to be attentive on this matter. Our government is determined to continue promoting the consumption of locally produced goods and services. If we have to legislate about that, we will ask this House to do so. We know the benefits of that, Madam Speaker. This is key to our economic transformation story and agenda. Demand for local produce, consumption of local produce and services will drive higher production levels. Simple. Simple. Yes, Kawambwa Tea is our company. Madam Speaker, this behavior, without you noticing it as an individual, would translate into what we call demand pull, and production will respond positively, and jobs will be created, and businesses will be created. It's as simple as that. And there's no partisanship, Madam Speaker, in such issues. There's no political party in such issues. What there is the interest of Zambia and our people. This is key, I repeat, to our social economic transformation agenda. When I say this, I mean to all of us, not to the UPND, not to the PF, not to another party, but to the whole country. We are making progress in this area, but a bit slow, as more of our citizens are consuming our local products. This is evidenced by the increased shelf space for local products in trading areas and shops, Madam Speaker. We now have 47 local companies that are certified to use the official Proudly Zambian logo, covering 565 local products registered with a mark of quality under Buy Zambia campaign. We give credit to those of our citizens who have relentlessly continued to push the Buy Zambia campaign, and we must support them. This is progress, of course, compared to 33 companies certified in 2022. Comparative analysis, Madam Speaker, covering 500 products. Now we have many more products, many more companies. It's good process, good stage, but we can do more. Further, this administration, Madam Speaker, will promote and strengthen initiatives aimed at increasing the use of local inputs in various processes and production value chains. I have followed the debate of the importation of onion. Honestly, why should we import onion in this country? Honestly. Let's carry this debate outside this House. This is not correct. This is common sense issue. Madam Speaker, we must have specific mindsets evolution to connect value, why and value, for which we should do these things, such things. Value addition, Madam Speaker, is essential is a very important and essential component, among others, in driving the growth of our economy. We've talked about it before. We must work towards actualizing that. Madam Speaker, it is gratifying to witness increased acts of care from citizens and organizations who have been rendering support to the needy on a voluntary basis. On a voluntary basis. Some citizens have been offering their services and indeed resources to serve their respective communities. We salute all of those who are volunteering their services and provide resources in their communities to the needy. These include faith-based organizations, women churches, members of the World Development Committees at that level, which is important, localized level, community welfare assistance committees, civil society, NGOs, amongst others. Madam Speaker, I'm proud to say, some may not see it. Many of the citizens are beginning to see that a new dawn is here. It is time, Madam Speaker, to work hard, as I said earlier, to cherish benefits arising from work, not taking, but you get rewarded from working. Our country must build itself and must build itself as a united people. It is time to stop any form of division, Madam Speaker, based on whatever criterion or criteria. Absolutely none of these issues must divide us. And I'm not shy to say, ethnicity is a gift from God. It's not a basis of divisions. Some have exploited and benefited from it for years. This must come to an end. Political affiliation, religious. Many of us are victims of our religious affiliations. Why should it be like that? Body of Christ is one. Indeed, any other differences, Madam Speaker, must not be a basis of divisions in our country. We have a lot more things that unite us than the few that apparently, superficially, may be viewed to be the basis of divisions. No, Madam Speaker. You can argue on policies, we can argue on who we socialize with, it's our choice, but it should never lead to divisions that eventually bring in violence. No. No, Madam Speaker. We are one Zambia, one nation, one people. This is a gift. This is a gift from God. This is a gift from God. Since we're a Christian nation, we must live like Christians. We must rid ourselves of acts that divide us, Madam Chair. It's a wasteful exercise. It's wasted energy. It's waste of resources. All of these resources, time included, are needed for a concerted effort towards development, bettering the lives of our people, not to use them to divide ourselves, unless one has an inferiority complex. If you don't have that, we must rid ourselves of that stuff. We are Zambians first before affiliation to a political party, before we join churches. Madam Chair, many of us belong to churches because that's the church that we found when we were born in the area we were born. How can that be a source of difference? Ethnic, as I said, how can that be an issue? Social groupings. So human rights, fundamental human rights, liberties and freedoms. But they cannot be and should never be the basis for divisions. In this regard, Madam Chair, we must enjoy our freedoms and rights without fear. That's the opposite side of the coin, without fear of victimization. Some things we must say, they happened in the past, we should never allow them to happen again. I think that's the basis of strength, not weakness. There is no honor, I must say, Madam Chair. I'm sure others did not expect me to say it. There is no honor in cadreism that leads to violence. There is no honor. And discrimination against fellow citizens. To those who want to commit these crimes, Madam Chair, I shall repeat to assist one or two colleagues who were busy chatting. To those who want to commit these crimes, you are on your own. We love you, but you are on your own. And that's what I said, Madam Speaker, to separate criminality from the love that I talked about. We love you, but you're on your own. The law will visit you regardless of your political affiliation. We urge our citizens, Madam Speaker, to report any form of harassment, discrimination, and violence in markets, bus stations, or public offices to law enforcement agencies. And Madam Speaker, I would like to emphasize here, when leaders, we leaders are leading people in divisive behaviors, I think we take away the credentials of leadership from ourselves. And I hope people are hearing. In the past, it was a norm to abuse fellow citizens, and leaders were in the lead. Madam Chair, Madam Speaker, I am deliberately emphasizing this issue because it went on for years and it became normal. And those who propagated it were protected. But I'm saying, Madam Speaker, I am saying we love you, but you do that going forward, you are on your own. Going forward, law and order everywhere, Madam Speaker. Going forward, law and order everywhere and all the time should be the norm, and not the violence and hooliganism of the past. Democracy, Madam Speaker, and constitutionalism. Madam Speaker, in a democracy like ours, the people are supreme and are the highest form of political authority. Indeed, the Zambian people are our masters. We in this House must remind ourselves of this all the time. We are proud that our thriving democracy continues to be a shining example in the region, on our continent, and I must say, having attended many international platforms to re-enter our country into the League of Nations, we are respected out there. Our democracy is respected. Let us respect it here, because we are used now as a good example of democracy. Madam Speaker, there is need to always remember that those of us in positions of authority are there, first and foremost, courtesy of the people of Zambia, to serve, Madam Speaker, hear me out, to serve and not to take away from the people. The two are different. Public office is to serve, not to take away from the people. Madam Speaker, our administration is committed to creating a level playing field where democracy can thrive, creating an environment in which political actors can freely compete on ideas, convictions, and, as I said, service, and nothing else. This is evident from the recently held by-elections, Madam Speaker, at parliamentary and local government levels, where political parties campaigned freely, devoid of violence of the past, devoid of violence of the past, unprecedented levels of violence of the past, and some of us are victims of those levels of violence. But we are mature enough to say we shall turn a different route. We thank the political parties, the people of Kawata constituents in Lusaka, Liangati ward in Senanga, and indeed Sokontwe ward in Milenge in Luapula for the peaceful elections. This indeed, Madam Speaker, this is indeed, Madam Speaker, how it should be. This demonstrates our deepening democracy. But this does not happen by chance. It happens through leadership, through providing leadership. Lingering habits of the past, Madam Speaker, do raise or rear their ugly heads. But the important thing is that we are committed and will continue providing leadership to stamp them down. That's the key. It's not that they will not reappear. One or two instances will happen, but we'll clamp them down. And that's leadership. That's leadership. The new Dawn administration respects the principle of separation of powers among the three arms of government. Absolutely. While coordination is of vital importance, we will, however, continue to respect the autonomy of the executive on one hand, legislature on another, and indeed the judiciary in carrying out their respective constitutional mandates. Madam Speaker, today, certain things are happening which could have never happened just 7, 8 months ago. That people are entitled to police bond. People are entitled to bail. That's separation of powers, but through leadership. Madam Speaker, as indicated, our administration remains committed to the rule of law to ensure an orderly and just society. Today, Madam Speaker, anyone can go to Intercity Market and catch a bus. You can go to Kulima Tower and buy what you want, or indeed do what you want, even when you are wearing your regalia of the opposite side. Only 7 months ago, that was a death sentence. Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker, leadership can destroy, leadership can build. Let us use leadership to build, not to destroy. And sometimes we must accept what is wrong to be wrong and right to be right. All persons, therefore, Madam Speaker, institutions and entities, public and private, shall operate within the confines of the law. We will enforce the law equally, regardless of one's status in society. Constitutional reforms, Madam Speaker, allow me to say something about this. Constitutional reforms are an integral part of the transformation agenda of this administration. There's too many lacunas. I'm not sure how this happened, but it happened. There are too many lacunas in the Constitution. Madam Speaker, I am talking about the 2016 Constitution. The lacunas in the 2016 Constitution. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about anything else here. Madam Speaker, constitutional reforms are an integral part of the transformation agenda of this administration. In this regard, Madam Speaker, government shall undertake all necessary measures to gather and build consensus, Madam Speaker, with all stakeholders on how best we can give ourselves a constitution that reflects our shared and cherished aspirations as a people. Madam Speaker, I want to emphasize the word consensus building. No constitutional process must be driven without consensus. For example, Madam Speaker, not just the Constitution, but other laws. But for example, Madam Speaker, I am passionate about what I'm about to say. And I ask for your attention, the attention of colleagues in this August House. For example, some of us will continue to lobby you in this House and others for the nation to legislate against costly, time-consuming, and disruptive by-elections. Elections. Madam Speaker, those with good memories, if that's all we need, will remember that in my inaugural speech opening this Parliament, where I'm seated here, I raised the same issue. I raise it again because I believe in it. And I want to repeat, some of us will continue to lobby you, all of you here, and others for the nation to legislate against costly, time-consuming, and disruptive by-elections. Come to the table for this. Elections should happen once in every 5 years. In between elections, we should focus on all our available time and resources to improving the lives of our fellow citizens. So, come to the table on this one and others. In addition, Madam Speaker, excitement indicates that there's interest in this subject. Madam Speaker, I said there are so many flaws in the Constitution and lacunas. If we don't change those, like this one, the by-elections will continue. Well, in addition, Madam Speaker, working with you and other stakeholders, our administration will amend the Public Order Act in line with our democratic tenets. Human dignity, Madam Speaker, equity, social justice, equality, and non-discrimination are critical. And we've learned the hard way from the past on this one. Madam Speaker, enhancing human development for our people is a major priority for this government. We are committed to turning around our economy to accelerate social economic transformation and uplift the livelihoods of our citizenry. In this regard, more effort will be placed on creating opportunities and a conducive environment for increased productivity. Madam Speaker, our government is determined to have a dignified workforce, as I said before. Employers should employ, I shall repeat this, employers should comply with our labor laws and provide a conducive environment for the workers to work in. It is in this regard, Madam Speaker, under the Decent Work Program, over 3,800 labor inspections were undertaken in 2021 to enhance the protection of workers' rights, improve the work environment, obviously, which should lead to higher productivity. It is clear that a lot still remains to be done to promote the decent workplace agenda. We also urge employees on their part to bring to the attention of government through various labor offices any concerns that they may have for improvement. There's no point just posting this on social media. Please report what you are aggrieved about to the labor offices near you. We believe that working together, the work environment, and indeed productivity and economic advancement shall be the good result that we expect. Madam Speaker, we are concerned with the high unemployment levels amongst our youth. Very concerned. Handouts will not solve this problem. Absolutely. The new Dawn administration will review, realign, and add new youth empowerment programs to make them more relevant, viable, and sustainable. This process, Madam Speaker, you'll be very pleased that, in fact, it has already commenced. As we speak here in this House, Madam Speaker, this year's Youth Day is organized in a different way for the first time. There is a conference going on next door here where the youth from across the country have gathered to look at specifically how we can address their concerns and create decent jobs, decent business opportunities. Not just mere cash handouts for political expedience, but dignified work, businesses. This is a story I know well, Madam Speaker. This process, I repeat, has in fact already commenced. That interactive process, compared to what is existing, new initiatives brought on the table, we should cook the meal for our youth, which is decent, but also available, not in one day, but for days, months, and years. This is how you build a nation. We urge the youth to take advantage of the empowerment programs, such as those under the dramatically enhanced Constituency Development Fund, to better their lives. These are the new initiatives. Opportunities, I must say, Madam Speaker, opportunities for access to land for our people, youth, our people. Mining licenses. You have heard me. Opportunities for access to land, mining licenses, timber licenses, and contracts for goods and services is part of the menu. These will be expanded to give our youth and other citizens a decent, sustainable opportunities to income generation. Not queuing, Madam Speaker. Not tantameni, Madam Speaker. Tantameni, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, tantameni in our Bemba language, is a practice where some politicians will never drive development in their constituencies, but when elections come, they just tell the youth to line up and 20 kwacha each and ask them to vote for them without development. Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker, we must help our youth to develop. We must help our youth to develop, to look after themselves. Those of us born from the village understand this better. But it's no different from any part of the country, or indeed where you were born. Let's develop our population. Let's not destroy them. Additionally, our strategy to promote investment and private sector growth will not only bring about economic growth, but create jobs, Madam Speaker, and our cherished desire to see our people access business opportunities. And this House, if necessary, it must legislate on many things that will make our people access these opportunities we've talked about. Self-employment, Madam Speaker, should continue to be promoted and to be valued. Since I described that usage of the word and not tantamen. Madam Speaker, I want to repeat, self-employment should continue to be promoted and to be valued in our country. Madam Speaker, as a nation, we have a duty to educate every Zambian child, regardless of status. As stated earlier, our first bold step, Madam Speaker, in this regard was to make primary and secondary education free in public schools. When others mocked us, Madam Chair, that this was not possible, we insisted that it was, and we are doing it. Additionally, we are also keeping more vulnerable children in school by enhancing the school feeding program. Madam Chair, I have heard complaints that now children are sitting on the floor, so the free education policy has failed. What a lack of understanding. It's a good problem to have. It means the policy is working. It means that there were children out of school before this policy. How do we resolve it? Simple. Buy more desks. Build more classroom space. Is that possible? Yes. Through what? CDF and other measures. Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker, The House went into rapture too early. I was telling a short story that it is a right and pleasurable challenge to have because it means the policy is working. We must be ashamed that children, some, many, were out of school because parents could not afford. This is the vision. This is it. Now we can fix it. I was saying, buy school desks, and Madam Chair, in support of our youth and women, no school desks should be imported from outside this country. They must all be made here. Madam Speaker, I have heard people say capacity, capacity. This policy will develop capacity. Demand will drive production. And the money desks must be bought in the locations, in constituents, districts, province. Then the money will stay in those areas. You are talking of liquidity, you will see liquidity. Madam Speaker, before the House went into rapture, I said the instrument, the tool is CDF and other instruments. That's what I said. Please take note of these words. They mean something. Before, we argued a lot that free education was not possible. We said, no, it's possible. Today is here. Madam Speaker, to also address the flaws of the bursary system. At the center, we have said scholarships, some of them will be delivered and decided at a constituency level. That's transformatory. It's a transformation. It's a measure that many never envisaged could happen. It's here. Madam Speaker, I shall repeat because there was a bit of happiness in the House. We are also keeping more vulnerable children in school by enhancing the school feeding program. This is not only ensuring that pupils are not absent from class, but are also improving their learning outcomes. Food is crucial to many of our children. Madam Speaker, our government is constructing public infrastructure, including completing those that we found and completed for over 10 years. These are public assets. They don't belong to a political party. They belong to the citizens. They are in the balance sheet of a business called Zambia. And they must not sit in a status we call dormancy or non-productive. We want to put them into productive use. It's a clever decision to make. Nothing to do with politics. Our government is proceeding on this line to respect, even when we may not agree with some of the decisions that were made before, but to respect that money, public money was spent. And we must bring these assets into full use, gainful use, Madam Speaker. We want to bring services, public services, closer to people and address the developmental inequalities between rural and urban areas. Rural connectivity, Madam Speaker, transportation, access to electricity, among others. Electricity is not just from the grid, Madam Speaker. It is off-grid as well. It is green electricity as well. Among others, these are critical agenda items for development. Projects, Madam Speaker, have been initiated and once commissioned, more of our people in peri-urban and rural areas will have access to markets, access to electricity. As I said, electricity is not ZESCO. There's a misnomer that electricity means ZESCO. No. ZESCO is only one. There's a lot of off-grid electricity. Madam, those of us from the villages, our parents, the remaining ones, have electricity through off-grid. We can do it for other old people. We can do it for the vulnerable. And this will ease livelihoods, ease doing business in those areas. Madam Speaker, we are also working to enhance access to water and sanitation. Again, wonderful instrument, never thought about before. Good portion of CDF will go to water. No woman, if we do it properly, no woman, mother or daughter should walk 5 kilometers to the water point, 5 kilometers back home. And we expect them to cook for us. We have been in an unfair society for too long. We should not continue doing that. We are also working to enhance access to other mechanisms that will overlay the CDF platform. Climate adaptation funds must be overlaid, some of them with the CDF funds. Yes. We'll sink the borehole under CDF, we'll bring a solar panel under climate adaptation. Then you have reticulated water. Then you will have reticulated water, you will have a flush toilet. Absolutely. That's what we do in the villages, where we come from. Madam Speaker, as indicated, we have significantly applied our minds to the needs of society who live in different circumstances across the country. Madam Chair, our citizens at the constituency level now have an opportunity to determine their developmental priorities and implement these priorities through funding support, never done before, other than the small paltry amounts that were available. It also takes money away from the center where it's stolen to the local areas. It's critical, Madam Speaker. The programs ought to be supported. CDF should not be a partisan issue. CDF should be an instrument for the communities. Madam Speaker, we want to promote entrepreneurship, self-employment. It's the surest way of employing a lot of people is through entrepreneurship, is through self-employment. Madam Speaker, I said as we are sitting here, the youth are meeting a few meters from here to deal with this very issue. And this government, their government, this parliament should support them when they make the right decisions. Good governance and integrity. Madam Speaker, the new Dawn administration is committed to good governance. To this end, we are determined to see to it that all those entrusted with public affairs management must be responsible, accountable, and transparent. Madam Speaker, we are committed to fighting corruption. I shall repeat this. We must not be misunderstood by following law and order. Does not mean abandoning fighting corruption. We are committed to fighting corruption, strengthening the rule of law, and ensuring prudence in the utilization of public resources. Corruption, Madam Speaker, takes away the much-needed resources for economic growth. Jobs, business opportunities, improving education, and health and other social services. Corruption reduces the effectiveness of public administration anywhere and everywhere. We must fight corruption together, Madam Speaker, in all its forms and manifestations. It is therefore wrong for the corrupt to deliberately and intentionally label themselves as victims in the fight against corruption so as to gain sympathy from the public. Madam Speaker, it is wrong for the corrupt to deliberately and intentionally label themselves as victims in the fight against corruption so as to gain sympathy from the public. Children, women, the youth, and other vulnerable members of our society remain the true victims of corruption. Madam Speaker, government has also established a Financial and Economic Crimes Court to expedite the disposal of corruption cases. Fast-track courts. This government will not falter in the fight against corruption, but will be patient. It will follow due process of the law. Absolutely. There will be no sacred cow, Madam Speaker, in this fight against corruption. We must all declare war against corruption. We encourage, Madam Speaker, this is very important, because I've followed the leader of government business in the House, our Honorable Vice President, said once, twice, maybe more in this House. Let me emphasize this. We encourage those who engaged in corruption to voluntarily come forward and pay back to society what they took. Madam Speaker, we encourage those who engage in corruption, and there are many, to voluntarily come forward and pay back to society what they took away. Rather than parroting themselves as victims, Madam Speaker, it is wise to do so than to wait for the inevitable, which is prosecution and the resultant consequences. We must work hard and be firm against unethical conduct in both private and public lives. And Madam Speaker, what I said about access, absolutely, about coming forward, is within the law. Well, if you don't come forward, a decision has been taken to name and shame, and it will happen. But that's not our intent. The intent is to recover in a civilized way. Take it. If you leave it, don't claim you are a victim going forward. Madam Speaker, we are strengthening mechanisms for public financial management and procurement going forward. Going forward, a simple rule of thumb, Madam Speaker, has been established by this government. Having studied, having understood where the leakages were coming from and what ran down the economy from 7% growth in 2011 to 0 to minus. We fully understand that. And in order to deal with this issue, amongst other reasons, other factors, going forward, we've put a simple rule of thumb, and that will be to procure goods and services and works in the public sector shall be done at a correct price, number one. Number two, right quality, of course quantity. Number three, ensure timely delivery. Simple rule of thumb going forward. And this will apply to all of us new office bearers to respect these three rules, to protect public resources and use them for those who need them most. To this end, we have put in place measures to seal leakages in the procurement of goods and services in the public sector. Huge leakages. Well, when the naming and shaming happens, let's see what the reaction of all of us will be. We should depart from the bad habits of the past, Madam Speaker. I urge all of us in this House, in the nation, to depart from the bad habits of the past. It is possible to utilize public resources prudently. It is possible. Madam Speaker, sustainable development is important. In our effort to develop the country, we are paying special attention to issues of sustainability in our development efforts. We have adopted a growth path that takes into account the developmental interests of both present and future generations' vision. We will ensure that our development process guarantees intergenerational equity and ecological integrity. Climate change continues to threaten the sustainable development of our country. Developments beyond our control, challenging our efforts to develop this country. We need to work together to ameliorate this. The effects of climate change are evident to all of us. In the recent past, some parts of our country have been affected by floods and drought, respectively, sadly. Some of our people have been left homeless. Crops, livestock, and other means of livelihood have been destroyed. This has negatively affected the livelihoods of our people. It doesn't matter where these people are. They are citizens of Zambia. They are our people. We must care for them together. It is therefore important, Madam Speaker, that as a nation we tackle the devastating effects of climate change very, very strongly. In this regard, government will continue to promote utilization of climate change smart agriculture technologies and practices by all our farmers. Madam Speaker, to further mitigate against the effects of climate change, our administration is promoting afforestation. To this effect, 5,854.7 hectares of trees were planted during the period under review. We should and will do more in this area. I believe we should localize tree planting, decentralize it, devolve it, as we have done in other areas. In addition, the number of hectares of areas with forest management plans have increased, Madam Speaker, to 2.37 million hectares from 1.64 million hectares in 2020. Looks a good achievement, but we can do more. Let each and every one of us take interest in tree planting, Madam Speaker, even in our yard. Surely to plant 2 trees, you want to do tantamen. You can do it on your own. Madam Speaker, let each and every one of us take an interest in tree planting. It will make a difference. It will go a long way in protecting our environment and mitigating the negative effects of climate change. Madam Speaker, government has affirmed its commitment to addressing issues of climate change by creating the Ministry of Green Economy and Environment for the first time. We are determined to place the country on a balanced green development trajectory that takes into account people, profit, you hear me deliberately, people, profit, because people don't understand where there's no profit, you cannot support anyone. It's not possible. So we'll take into account people, profit, and planet. I'm talking about profit from genuine enterprise. Madam Speaker, indiscriminate disposal of solid and other waste in public spaces is a source of great concern. It is disheartening to see the amount of solid waste lying around in many of our public places, such as markets, bus stations. This is unacceptable. The waste being disposed in undesignated areas is making our surroundings untidy, unhygienic, and is clogging, in some cases, drainage systems. This is contributing to perennial floods, especially in urban, peri-urban settings. Our communities are being exposed to health hazards, while our efforts to achieve sustainable development are being undermined. We must put an end to this. We urge all citizens to take an active role in keeping Zambia clean, keeping Zambia green, and keeping Zambia healthy. The private sector and the local authorities should take advantage of the economic opportunities that come with solid waste management through recycling and indeed production of energy. In conclusion, Madam Speaker, during our inaugural address, we committed and laid, Madam Speaker, during our inaugural address, we committed and laid down our vision to build a better Zambia. We did so. It's interesting to hear people say there is no plan. We were elected on a plan. Madam Speaker, during our inaugural address, we committed and laid down our vision to build a better Zambia. Some of the things we've raised today, CDF, free education, law and order, are right there in the plan. Madam Speaker, Zambia, a Zambia where real jobs and business opportunities will be created, is what we are working towards to. A Zambia where our people will be assured of food on their table is where we are working to. A Zambia anchored on love, national unity, and mutual respect. Madam Speaker, mutual respect. Very important. Madam Speaker, our government is aware that there are many social ills that are prevalent in our society. High rates of divorce, suicides, crime, and other severe social ills are of great concern to us, and they require our collective effort, Madam Speaker, to bring about remedies, sustainable remedies. Among the remedies are the development of mental health programs, community interventions, counseling, Madam Speaker, and a strong economy. I repeat, a strong economy, which unfortunately we have to rebuild all over again. That eases our citizens of the financial distress, is top of our agenda. And I invite all of us in this House, in this country, to work together on this very important subject We must know when to distinguish, or we must distinguish times when we must debate and present and advance differences, and times when we must converge. Madam Speaker, this is the time we must converge. As stated in our promise to the people of Zambia, our focus for the next 4.5 years is to address the economic declines of the last 10 years. Numbers, Madam Speaker, do not lie. In 2011, this economy was growing at 6+%, close to 7%. In the last 10, worst 7 years, we wiped out all this growth to zero, to minus. And this House must accept that there's something wrong that happened in the last 10 years. And must not be pretentious. Madam Speaker, we have no right to insinuate or suggest how debates must happen in this House. We have no right. But we observe. Nation is observing. We must be ashamed of the damage that was done to this economy. And work together. The good news is that we are happy, and we should work together to rebuild the economy and learn the lessons that took the economy down. As stated before, this vision resonates with our shared national values and principles. That's a speech. Madam Speaker, the wealth of this country belongs to all of us. We must enhance and maintain integrity in our day-to-day interactions and activities, even in this House. We will provide the necessary leadership to those outside. Our vision also calls for each one of us to work hard, as I said, and do our part in the national reconstruction agenda. We must all be accountable in what we do. As we move forward, it is incumbent upon each and every one of us to fully embrace our national values and principles as enshrined in our Constitution. These are meant to enable us to achieve our common vision of a prosperous Zambia. They are meant to help us develop the right attitudes required for our sustainable economic development. Our efforts to inculcate the national values and principles into our governance system are already yielding results, as highlighted by the progress in a number of areas in the last 6 months. No question about it. We, however, need to do more to operate within our own ethical standards and those that are set by our forefathers, were set by our forefathers and mothers. Our chosen journey, Madam Speaker, to being a truly value-centered and principle-centered nation is critical. There is no substitute for discipline, Madam Speaker. There is none. And hard work. There is none. We want good things, we must work. It is that which will deliver victory in the areas we have chosen to fight for the people of Zambia, to take out poverty. Opportunity for all. Zambia remains a Christian nation. Madam Speaker, we hear debates. That one is a Christian, that one is not a Christian. This is a Christian nation. It's in our Constitution. The core is to live like Christians. Values, principles, to live like Christians, including they shall not steal. Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker, Zambia remains a Christian nation. On the road ahead, we should anchor our actions on our Christian values, on our faith, on love, and rich cultural heritage. Whatever the difficulties, if we work together, we shall overcome. Democracy, pluralism is a basis for competition to serve better, and nothing else. As government, we are eager and available to provide the much-needed leadership. Madam Speaker, no matter the challenges we face, it is time for our hopes and aspirations of our people to be realized. For this to happen, we should work as a team, I repeat. Unity in diversity and unity of purpose are absolutely essential ingredients for us to achieve development and success for all, not for a few. May we be ethical, morally upright members of our society and be servant leaders. Madam Speaker, God bless our people. God bless our country. I thank you for your kind attention.
The end of the national address on the progress made in the application of national values and principles by the President of the Republic of Zambia. In his address, the President actually said that the government will recognize these values and principles and make them our way of life. Colleen.
Yes, the President has touched actually on a number of things, a number of items that are enshrined in the Constitution. He has touched on morality and ethics. He has touched on patriotism and unity, democracy and the constitutionalism amongst the many.
All right, and so we did just see the speaker seeing off the president, and the president is now leaving Parliament building. And just about now, business resumes right here in the chamber. Good morning.
Order. Order. Business resumes. Her Honor, the Vice President. Madam Speaker, I beg to move that at its rising today, the House do adjourn until Tuesday, 15th March, 2022. The question is that at its rising today, the House do adjourn until Tuesday, 15th March 2022. Any debate? Her Honor, the Vice President. Madam Speaker, on behalf of the House, and indeed on my own behalf, I wish to express my sincere appreciation to the President of the Republic of Zambia, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, for the speech that he has just delivered on the progress made in the application of national values and principles. Madam Speaker, I have no doubt, and the House will agree with me, that the President has raised a number of important issues that require serious and careful analysis by all of us. Consequently, I am of the view that the House should rise now so that honorable members have ample time to study and analyze the speech and reflect on the important issues that His Excellency, the President, has raised. This will enable the honorable members to make informed contributions during the debate on the address starting on Tuesday, 15th March 2022. Madam, this is a procedural motion, and I request all honorable members to support it. Madam Speaker, I beg to move. The question is that at its rising today, the House do adjourn until the Tuesday, 15th March 2022. Any further debate? The Honorable Member for Kafue.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Allow me to put on record my sincere gratitude for the opportunity accorded to me to speak on the motion just moved by Her Honor, the Vice President, on the occasion of the special address to Parliament by His Excellency the President, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, on the progress made in the application of national values and principles. Madam Speaker, I fully support the motion by Her Honor, the Vice President, that the House adjourns now to afford honorable members ample time to digest and critically analyze the speech so that when we come back to the House next Tuesday, we are fully prepared to debate the various issues contained in the inspirational speech delivered by His Excellency. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Her Honor, the Vice President, winding up debate. Winding up debate.
Madam Speaker, I am very grateful to the House for its support unanimously to this motion. Thank you very much, Madam. Thank you.
I put the question. The question is that at this rising today, the House do adjourn until Tuesday, 15th March 2022. As many as are of that opinion say aye. Aye. Of the contrary say no. No. The order. The ayes have it. The ayes have it. The question is resolved in the affirmative. Her Honor, the Vice President, adjournment.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the House do now adjourn.
The question is that the House do now adjourn. Any debate? Any objection? The question is agreed to. The House is now adjourned.